So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to rationalize a given set. You should be able to rationalize the denominator of a given set. So now, suppose we have 2 over root of 3 to rationalize. The main idea is that we have to get rid of square root being at the denominator side. So for us to get rid of the square root at the denominator side, we have to take our time and multiply the denominator root 3 over root 3. So when you multiply the denominator, we take the denominator and multiply it by 1, or multiply it as numerator and denominator here. Then 2 times root 3, we are going to get 2 root of what? 3 over root 3 times root 3 is root of 3 all squared, which is equal to 2 root 3 over 3, meaning the square will get rid of the square root. So that's the main idea. So to rationalize a given set means we have to get rid of the square root at the denominator side. And on this, we know that root a times root a is a, because root a times root a is root a all squared. So when the numbers under the radical signs are the same and they are multiplying, then the answer is one of the numbers under the radical sign. For example, root 2 times root 2. Since the numbers under the radical signs are the same, root 2 times root 2 is what? 2. So now, let's rationalize this one. Root 2 over root of 5. To rationalize this one, we have 2 over root 5. We take the root 5 to multiply root 5 over root 5. That's the idea of equivalent fraction. So 2 times root 5 is what? 2 root 5 over root 5 times root 5 is what? 5. And this is how to rationalize. So the main idea is to get rid of the square root being at the denominator side. So since root 5 times root 5, we will get 5. We will get 5. Then we have rationalized the denominator. So another one, suppose we have 3 over 4 root 2. So the number under the radical sign is what? 2. So which is equal to 3 over 4 root 2 times root 2 over root what? 2. Because when you multiply it by 4 root 2, the 4 will cancel the 4 here. So you have to take the set part. That's the root 2. So and we are going to get 3 times root 2 is what? 3 root 2 over the coefficient here is 1. So 4, 1, 4. Root 2 by root 2. Since the numbers under the radicals are the same, root 2 by root 2 is what? 2. And finally, we are going to get 3 root 2 over 4 times 2 is 8. And this will be our final answer. So now let's take more examples. Let's take more examples to simplify. So now, let's simplify root 2 plus root 5 all over root of 10. So now we have to simplify this one. We have to rationalize root 2 plus root 5 all over root 10. You see that all of the numbers here, 2, 5, 10, all of them are in their basic form. So since all of them are in their basic form, then we have to take the denominator here. Let's rationalize the denominator. So for us to rationalize the denominator, we will get root 2, root 5 over root 10 times root 10 over root 10. So that when you multiply root 10 by root 10, we will get 10 and get rid of the square root at the denominator side. So now we have root 10, multiplying all the numerators here. We have root 10 times root 2 plus root of 5 all over root 10 times root what? 10. Root 10 times root 10, the numerator is multiplying the root 10 here. So which is equal to root 10 by root 2 is root of 20 plus root 10 by root 5 is root of 50 all over root 10 by root 10 is what? 10. That's over 10. So now you see that you have root 20 plus root 50. And see, they are not in their basic form. So we can move on, simplify it to their basic form. So now let's check the factors of 20, in which one is perfect and one is what? Not perfect. And the highest perfect factor, the highest perfect factor of 20 is the highest perfect factor of 20 is what? 4. Times which number will give you 20? That's root of 4 times root of 5. Then plus the root of 50. The highest perfect factor of 50 is what? Root of 25 times root of what? 2. All over 10. So which is equal to root of 4 is what? 2 times root 5. You get 2 root of what? 5 plus root of 25 is 5 times root 2. You get 5 root of 2 all over 10. So on this note, we can separate them since they are sharing one common denominator. So you can have 2 root of 5 all over 10 plus 5 root of 2 all over 10. And finally, we are going to get 2 here, 1, 2 here, 5. Get root of 5 over 5 plus 5 here, 1, 5 here, 2. Root 2 over 2. And this is the final answer. This is the final answer. And this is how to simplify or rationalize a given set. So now let's take another example for better understanding. So we are to rationalize 5 plus root 2 all over 3 plus root 2. So now let's rationalize this one. So in this case, we have to find the conjugate form of 3 plus root 2 and multiply this set by the conjugate of the denominator. So the conjugate form of the denominator will be what? 3 minus root 2. So which is equal to 5 plus root 2 all over 3 plus root 2 times 3 minus root 2 all over 3 minus root 2. And 3 minus root 2 here is the conjugate form of the denominator. So that when the set multiply its conjugate, we get a constant or whole number or a rational number and get rid of the square root. So now let's move on. So we are going to have 5 plus root 2 all over 3 plus root 2 times 3 minus root 2 over 3 minus root 2. And we are going to get 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times minus root 2 is minus 5 root of 2. Then we are done with this one. Let's say the root 2 times 3 is 3 root 2. Root 2 by root 2 is minus of what? 2. All over a set times its conjugate. 3, they have 9. 3 times minus root 2 is minus 3 root 2. Root 2 times 3 is plus 3 root 2. And root 2 by root 2 is minus of what? 2. So let's move on to simplify. So the constants we have 15 and 2. So 15 minus 2 is what? 13. Minus 5 root 2 plus 3 root 2 is minus 2 root of what? 2. All over. Now we have plus 3 root 2. Sorry, minus 3 root 2 plus 3 root 2. We are going to get what? 0 here. So and we are going to have minus 9 minus what? 2. And finally, we are going to get 13 minus 2 root 2 all over what? 7. This is the final answer we're supposed to get. So now let's take another example. Let's take another example. So another example is we are to simplify 4 root 5 plus 3 root 2 all over 2 root 5 minus 5 root 2. So now, this one, let's take our time and find the conjugate form. So please find the conjugate form of this denominator. Find the conjugate form of this denominator. So you see, when you find the conjugate form of this denominator, we are going to get what? 2 root 5 plus 5 root 2, because here is minus. And its conjugate will be what? Positive. Therefore, root 5 plus 3 root 2 all over 2 root 5 minus 5 root 2 times the conjugate form of the denominator. We are going to get what? 2 root of 5 minus 5. Sorry, conjugate is plus 5 root 2 all over 2 root 5 plus 5 root 2. So in this case, let's multiply them. So we are going to get 4 root 5 times 2 root 5. You have 8 times what? 5. Because 4 to 8 root 5 by root 5 is 5. Plus 4 root 5 times 5 root 2. We are going to get 20 root of 10. 20 root of 10. 3 root 2 times 2 root 5. We are going to get 6 root of 10. 3 root 2 times 5 root 2. We are going to get 15 bracket 2 all over. Now let's take our time and perform the same task for the denominators. So 2 root 5 times 2 root 5. Take your time and simplify this one. 2 root 5 times 2 root 5. So we are going to get what? So if you take your time and solve it well, we are going to get 4 times 5. Because 2 is 4. Root 5 by root 5 is 5. So 2 root 5 by 5 root 2. So 2, 5 is 10. We're going to get 10 root of what? 10. Minus 5 root 2 times 2 root 5 is minus 10 root 10. So minus 5 root 2 times 5 root 2, you have minus 25 times 2. And on this note, we are going to get 8 times 5 here is what? 40 plus this root 10, they are the same, they are like sets. So 20 plus 6 is what? 26, and take one of the roots, that's root 10. 15 times 2 is 30. So all over 4 by 5 is 20. Root 10, 10 root 10 minus 10 root 10 is 0. We have minus 25 times 2 is what? Minus 50. And we are going to get constant by plus the constant. 40 plus 30 is what? 70 plus 26 root 10 all over 20 minus 50 is negative 30. So we can move on to simplify this one again by taking 2 to divide through. So negative 2 goes into this, negative 35, negative 2 here, minus 13, root of 10, all over 15. So this is our final answer. So suppose we have this problem to simplify. We have to simplify 5 root of 11 plus 2 root 7 all over 7 root of 2 minus 2 root 7. So suppose we have this problem to solve. So we have to take your time and go through the same process and get your final answer. So I will leave this question for you to try it yourself and get good results. So thank you for watching this video and keep on following me on Anum Solomon TV. So don't forget to hit on that notification bell for more updates. Thank you.